Here we are back in the world of Spira, and we have finally come face to face with Yunalesca.
Someone's coming!
Lady Yunalesca.
Welcome to Zanarkand. I congratulate you, Summoner. You have completed your pilgrimage. I will now bestow you with that which you seek. The final summoning will be yours. Now, choose. You must choose the one whom I will change to become the faith of the final summoning. There must be a bond between Chosen and Summoner, for that is what the final summoning embodies. The bond between husband and wife, mother and child, or between friends. If that bond is strong enough, its light will conquer sin. 1,000 years ago, I chose my husband Zeon as my faith. Our bond was true, and I obtained the final Aeon. There is nothing to fear. You will soon be freed of worry and pain. For once you call forth the final Aeon, your life will end. Death is the ultimate and final liberation. Your father, Braska, chose this path.
Not too late. Let us turn back.
If I turn back, who will defeat Sin? Would you have some other summoner and his guardians go through this?
But... my lord, there must be another way.
This is the only way we got now.
Fine. Make me the faith.
I've been doing some thinking. My dream is back in the other Zanarkand. I wanted to make that runt into a star blitz player. Show him the view from the top, you know. But now I know there's no way home for me. I'm never gonna see him again. My dream's never gonna come true. So make me the faith. I'll fight Sin with you, Braska. Then maybe my life will have meaning, you know?
Don't do this, Jecht. If you live, there may be another way. We'll think of something, I know.
Believe me, I thought this through. Besides, I ain't getting any younger, so I might as well make myself useful.
Jecht?
What? You're not gonna try to stop me too?
Sorry. I mean... thank you.
Braska still has to fight Sin, Auron. Guard him well. Make sure he gets there. Well, let's go.
Lord Braska, Jecht.
What do you want now?
Sin always comes back. It comes back after the calm, every time. The cycle will continue and your deaths will mean nothing.
But there's always a chance it won't come back this time. It's worth trying.
I understand what you're saying, Auron. I'll find a way to break the cycle.
You have a plan?
Jecht?
Trust me, I'll think of something.
And the cycle went on.
We'll break it.
But how? What, you got a plan now?
If one of us has to become a faith, I volunteer.
Me too, Yuna.
That still won't change anything, you know? You'd bring the calm, and then what? That won't break the cycle!
Listen, you want to defeat Sin and keep Yuna alive. You don't want Sin to come back, yeah? That is just not gonna happen, brother, you know?
If you want everything, you'll end up with nothing.
But I want everything!
Now you're being childish.
I give up. So what would an adult do then? They know they can just throw away a summoner, then they can do whatever they like. You're right. I might not even have a chance. But no way am I gonna just stand here and let Yuna go. And what Auron said about there being a way, I think it's true.
You'll think of something?
Yes, I'll go ask Yunalesca. She's got to know something.
You really think she'll help you?
I don't know, but I have to try. This is my story. It'll go the way I want it, or I'll end it here.
Wait. You say it's your story, but it's my story too, you know? It would be so easy to let my fate just carry me away, following this same path my whole life through. But I know I can't. What I do with no regrets.
Well, that explains quite a bit, doesn't it? I mean, where does the final Aeon come from? Well, if it's been killed every time, well, it's gotta be a different final Aeon every time, so it was a Guardian every single time that got turned into the final Aeon which defeats Sin.
Have you chosen the one to become your faith? Who will it be?
Might I ask something first? Will Sin come back even should I use the final summoning to defeat it?
Sin is eternal. Every Aeon that defeats it becomes Sin in its place. And thus is Sin reborn.
So that's why Jack became Sin.
Sin is an inevitable part of Spira's destiny. It is never-ending.
Never-ending? But if we atone for our crimes, Sin will stop coming back, yeah? Someday it'll be gone, yeah?
Will humanity ever attain such purity?
This cannot be! The teachings state that we can exercise sin with complete atonement! It's been our only hope all these years!
Hope is comforting. It allows us to accept fate, however tragic it might be.
No! Where is the sense in all this? Braska believed in Yevon's teachings and died for them. Jack believed in Braska and gave his life for him.
They chose to die because they had hope. Yevon's teachings and the final summoning give the people of Spira hope. Without hope, they would drown in their sorrow. Now choose. Who will be your faith? Who will be the one to renew Spira's hope?
No one. I would have gladly died. I live for the people of Spira, and would have gladly died for them, but no more. The final summoning is a false tradition that should be thrown away.
No. It is our only hope. Your father sacrificed himself to give that hope to the people, so they would forget sorrow.
Wrong. My father wanted to make Spiro's sorrow go away, not just cover it up with lies.
Sorrow cannot be abolished. It is meaningless to try.
My father, I loved him. So I will live with my sorrow. I will live my own life. I will defeat sorrow in his place. I will stand my ground and be strong. I don't know when it will be, but someday I will conquer it. And I will do it without false hope.
Poor creature. You would throw away hope. Well, I will free you before you can drown in your sorrow. It is better for you to die in hope than to live in despair. Let me be your liberator.
Now! This is it! Now is the time to choose. Die and be free of pain, or live and fight your sorrow. Now is the time to shape your stories. Your fate is in your hands.
Yuna needs Kimahri. Kimahri protect Yuna.
Well, I'm fighting.
I can't believe we're gonna fight Lady Yunalesca. Give me a break.
You can always run.
I'd never forgive myself. No way. Not if I ran away now. Even in death, yeah?
My thoughts exactly.
Yuna! This is our story. Now let's see this thing through together.
This was a frustrating fight for me, because there's some weird bug that went on. I don't know if it's a bug with the actual game or some sort of emulator problem, but look at Auron and Tidus. Actually, they're both facing the wrong direction. Well, Tidus is facing the right way this time, and so is Yuna, but Auron's facing the wrong direction, and so is Yunalesca, so you don't really get to see her. This may seem merely cosmetic, but it does have an unfortunate side effect, and you're about to see it now. I tried to use an overdrive with Auron, but look, he ran in the wrong direction. Because he ran in the wrong direction, he never approached the enemy. Because he never approached the enemy, the animation never stopped. Drove me insane, because I couldn't use the frickin' overdrives properly. So I had to go back and fight the fight again. Let's try this again, only this time, let's not try to, go overdrive with Auron. It would probably be a better idea if I went and tried to summon Bahamut a little bit later on in the battle, because it's going to get more difficult as time goes. Well, we just got a few bombs dropped on us in the past conversations, haven't we? Turns out this entire time that Yuna has been going and traveling to pick up the final Aeon, it turns out the final Aeon is actually going to be one of the Guardians that supports her during the mission. This is the way it's been since the second time that Sin has been defeated. And because the original final Aeon died in the process and was sort of taken over by Sin. What a real problem that is. But there's the solution of using the Guardians, but then that creates another problem. Sin goes, or rather, the core of Sin goes and turns the final Aeon, or really any Aeon is close enough, into Sin. It takes about 10 years, and that's what the calm is. But it creates this vicious cycle which can never end of Sin destroying things. Final Aeon destroys Sin. Final Aeon becomes new Sin. New Sin destroys things. And it just keeps happening over and over again. Now, the whole Yevon thing has told that if humanity is able to atone for their sins, which the sins basically involved using technology, then they would one day be without sin. Sin would just disappear. It would be defeated one day and just never return. Well, now we know that's never going to happen. That was just a complete load of horse shit that was used to keep people like calm. They all thought there was no hope, there would be chaos. But if they think there's some way like, oh, well, someday we'll be free of sin, then they're not going to go out and commit suicide in the streets, that kind of thing. Okay, you see this? Kind of harkening back to the old days of JRPGs. Boss with multiple forms. This is the second form of Yunalesca, and this one is kind of a pain in the ass because it will inflict zombie status on your characters. Now, zombie status, just like in all the Final Fantasy games, will, if you heal yourself, it will damage you instead of healing you, which creates a bit of a problem because your damage will just accumulate. Fortunately, Yunalesca is not really that strong. She can't deal a whole lot of damage to you at one time, so it's really just going to be slowly eating away at your power. Now, sure, you can go and cure zombie status, and you'd need the holy water for that. And if you had followed my advice a few episodes back, you would have bought a good stock of it. But don't be in too much of a hurry to cure your zombie status, and you're going to see why in a couple of minutes when we move on to the next form of the battle. Something that I've always wondered about with this game was how Yunalesca is connected to Yevon, the Church of Yevon. Because we've seen the Church of Yevon pretty much since the time of Operation Mi'ihen, that they're rather self-interested. All they really care about is themselves, and all these Maester guys are really in it for the power. Now, you're not really going to blame the priests in temples and stuff for this, because they're probably actually believing what they preach about being like peaceful and technophobic and all that kind of crap. But at the top of the church, it's pretty much all corrupt. But I wonder if Yunalesca has really anything to do with that. I mean, she is the one that's been maintaining this cycle, the destroying sin and being resurrected, and she's the one sort of facilitating the destruction of sin, and that's a big part of the Church of Yevon's power structure. But I wonder if she's really involved in that. Is she like willingly participating in that, or is she just doing this because she actually believes that this is the only way to stop sin from wiping out humanity? This weird sort of limbo between humanity standing on the edge of destruction, and she thinks that that's really the only way that humanity can survive. Or is she just willingly participating in the church's attempt to retain their own power? I also wonder if she has anything to do, or knows about, or really does anything with the dream version of Zanarkand that Tidus came from. Because remember that there was a war between Bevelle and Zanarkand, and it was the war, not sin, that destroyed Zanarkand, and sin was actually created sort of like as a result of that. Although I'm not quite sure that information has come out yet. But anyway, the people of Zanarkand put themselves into this dream state and created Dream Zanarkand as a way of preserving their own culture. While Yunalesca, on the other hand, seems to have gone and done this whole Final Aeon business as a way of preserving the world's culture. If she believed that humanity had to be saved in any other way, maybe she would have sort of thought that, oh, maybe the whole world should enter this weird dream state. Because in a sort of a weird way, it would have continued to survive without this weird Sin Destruction limbo, but... it's kind of weird. I'm not quite sure how they're related to each other, or even if they are related to each other. How much damage did that do? I should warn you that this battle is going to go on for quite a bit longer, for about another 13 or 14 minutes. So if you really don't feel like watching this whole battle, just know that at the 21-minute mark, Yunalesca is going to switch into her next form, and at the 34-minute mark, the battle is going to come to an end. Final form of Yunalesca. And damn, is it hideous. It's like some sort of weird, Medusa thing. Now this is why you don't want to get rid of the zombie status, this Mega Death attack. The idea behind that is it's an instant kill on any of your characters, unless they have zombie status, in which point it will miss. Now, if you removed your zombie status off of all your characters, or had some sort of item which shields you from zombie status, Mega Death will kill all of your characters. So you want to maintain the zombie status and cure them of that just long enough for you to get your cure spells in, and then let Yunalesca infect you again. Then this Hellbitter thing is going to come along and re-zombify everybody. So she will fairly frequently put you back in the zombie status. Just don't go overboard trying to recover from it every time she infects you with it. If your character's getting too damaged, swap him out for some other character. Even if it's a weaker character, it might be better than letting yourself get taken down by Mega Death. Yeah, all my characters are pretty well messed up right now. Zombie status and confusion all around. Hellbitter will actually remove the confusion status, so that's a little bit of help. But with only 7 HP left, Yunalesca is pretty much dead. One hit, and she's down.
If I die, so does the final Aeon. And with it, Spira's only hope.
Then we'll find Spira a new hope.
Fool. There is no other way. Even if there was, even if you did destroy Sin, you, Yevon, the Immortal, would only create Sin anew.
You, Yevon?
Ah, Zeon. Forgive me. Spira has been robbed of the light of hope. All that remains is sorrow.